press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello my dear students, welcome back to your geography class. Okay, so what all we did discuss till day? Do you remember something out of this? Okay, we were discussing about the physical features of India, right? Yes. So the last class, okay, in the last class we did discuss about certain things here, that is your introductory part, right? Even we had discussed about what is how important physical features are, right? Different types wherein we need rocks, how soil is formed, all those things, the basic thing we had discussed. So today let us know about the further things, okay? So very first thing when it comes to the geographical features, okay? So very first, yes, okay, so the major physiographic divisions when it comes to this, we have grouped it. So when it comes to India's physical features, we can group it, okay, we have grouped it under the following divisions, okay, these are the divisions wherein we have made up, okay, so that we can understand the things in a better manner. So the very first is the Himalayan mountains, the second is the northern plains, the third is the peninsular plateau, the Indian deserts, the coastal plains and the islands, okay, so these are the groups that we have done. So to understand the physical features of India in a better way, so these are the divisions that has been done. So let us know about it one after the other. Very first division is the Himalayas. You have heard about Himalayas every now and then, right? So see here, you can check out the Himalayas. So the range and all you can check here, okay, something that is made in brown, okay, not here, again the things and all here changes. So as and when we hear the name, we'll come to this slide and I'll let you know like where it is exactly located. Okay, so let us start with the first slide, that is okay. Yes, okay, see, these are geologically very young. When it comes to, Himalayan mountains, they are very young, okay, and structurally they are folded. So you can find, see, the other day I had shown you one mountain of this range, right, wherein all the folded mountains could be seen, right, nearby Kashmir. So when it comes to Himalayan mountains, these are folded mountains, okay, very like, see, as the earth, so the crust, okay, the other day we had studied about the plates, right? So plates, as they started coming together, what happened? They did form a peak like structure, right? So folding one after the other. So here we can find, when it comes to the Himalayas, we can find the folded mountains here, which is stressed, okay, like it is stretched, okay, when it comes to stretching, the whole thing is stretched here over the northern borders in India. So you can see here in the picture itself, like it is not that clear. We'll again check it out, okay. So the thing that is mentioned here, okay, the whole thing, so that is Himalayas. So here you can find the folded mountains. So these run in west-east direction from the Indus to the Brahmaputra. So you can find here Indus, okay, you can see the Indus river here, right? So from Indus, okay, so from that range you can see the Brahmaputra here, okay, it comes here, Brahmaputra river, okay. So till here we can see that Himalayas is being, like the formation of Himalayas could be seen. So that is ranging from river Indus to the Brahmaputra. So you can just imagine, right, from west to east direction, if you consider India from west to east direction, this has been spread. Now here when it comes to Himalayas, there are many rugged mountain barriers, totally very tight, okay, so totally very nearby mountains you can see. Okay, that's the reason we call it as Himalayas, right? Yes, and they form an arc. Okay, so when it comes to the Himalayas, it forms an arc that covers a distance of about 2,400 kilometers. So it forms an arc structure. So the whole structure is covered by Himalayas itself, and whole it is like the mountain itself. So the width varies from 400 kilometer in Kashmir to 150 kilometers in Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, the width. Okay, so the width that is, see, when it comes to this, so from this part, particular part, when it comes to your mountain part, okay, see, we can go for the first, yes. So right from see, here you have Brahmaputra, so from here, like totally it is covering, right? So from here till there it is covered. So what they want to say is, like the width, it varies from 400 kilometers in Kashmir to 150 kilometers in Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, so that is the Himalayan mountains. So here you see the greater Himalayas looks very good, right? See how nice it is. Now don't you feel like, yes, I have to go there and all? Definitely any person would feel, right? Seeing the picture itself, you can see, you can check the picture. Okay, I'll come on this side. Yes, see how nice it is, right? So any person would like to go there. So what exactly is this greater Himalayas? See, the Himalayas, it consists of 3 parallel ranges. Okay, so in its longitudinal extent, so you know this latitude and longitude, right? You have already studied it in 8th geography. So when it comes to this, it is extending, the greater Himalayas or the Himalayas itself is having the parallel ranges. Okay, so it is in the longitudinal extent. So here number of valleys are lying, okay, number of valleys. So you can see the river, streams, okay, small streams, all greenery. So whole you can see a pleasant kind of a climate there. Okay, number of valleys you can see there. So the northernmost range is known as the Great or Inner Himalayas, or say the Himadri. Okay, the northernmost. Okay, the northernmost. So that itself is called as Himadri. So not when it comes to your this, okay, so northernmost part if you consider, so here you can consider that particular part as Himadri here. So what they call it, it is called again Great Himalayas. Okay, so what they consider, the whole thing, okay, the whole northern part, okay, right from here till here, they consider that as Great Himalayas, or say Inner Himalayas. It is even called as Inner Himalayas. You can see here, right? So it is called as Great Himalayas. So that is how it looks. Yes. So in that itself you can see number of valleys there. So this greater Himalayas, it consists of number of valleys, and northernmost range, it is known as Great or Inner Himalayas. So it contains all the prominent Himalayan peaks. Okay, here you can find the popular peaks here, which are very famous in nature, which is having total greenery, okay, which is eye-catching, which is very what I can say, fabulous, okay, to watch. So those are the prominent Himalayan peaks which are there in Himalayan mountain, that too especially in the Himadris, or say the inner, or say Great Himalayas. Okay, it is called with great, it is named as Greater Himalayas, or say Inner Himalaya, or we even call it as Himadri. So that is where the peaks, okay, at the peak you can find there, see all the Himalayan peaks, the prominent Himalayan peaks, okay, so those can be found. And next, so when it comes to this, the folds of Great Himalayas are asymmetrical. You don't have symmetrical form here, okay, just like, you know, scaling and all, you don't have that kind of a thing. It is asymmetrical in nature. And here the core, okay, the core part, okay, the core of the mountains, it is composed of granite here, okay, it is composed of granite. So when the range, okay, there are a range that is lying to the south of the Himadri. When it comes to Himadri part, it forms the most rugged mountain system, okay. So when it comes to this particular thing, you can see here, Okay, so the color in all this purple kind of a thing, so you can see those things. Okay, so those are again few are like a river. Okay, they have mentioned where and all the rivers are situated, and here, okay, that is itself. So you can see that there are many valleys that are situated there. Okay, so there are ranges. Okay, it is mainly composed of highly compressed and altered rocks. There are many mountains which are rugged in nature. Not only that, with that you have compressed, wholly compressed and altered rocks. Okay, you can find all these things. See, in the previous picture also you could see, right, all these rocks and all, see, totally compressed, right? See how nice it is. So like all totally compressed rocks, and also here it is totally compressed in nature. Okay, yes. So here the Pir Panjal range forms the longest and the most important range. So here when it comes to Himalayas, so this Pir Panjal you can find here, see the name is given. So that range, okay, see from here till here it is spreading, right, very long, right? Yes, okay, so that particular thing is a famous one. It is the longest range, first thing, and it is very famous in nature. The Dauladhar and the Mahabharat range are also prominent ones. So Dauladhar and your and the this one, which is that, yes, Mahabharat. Okay, both are very famous in nature. You can see it here. Yes. So see. So here, okay, when it comes to this particular part, so wherein they say that, yes, here, okay, here somewhere. So there they say that, yes, that is a very huge huge range which is very popular and very famous in nature. And even with that you have like Pir Panjal range, and which is the longest one. With that, Dauladhar and Mahabharat ranges are also very prominent in nature. The next one is, see, you can see there are, when I said valley, okay, this is how the valleys look. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, okay, see here. So, such a nice one, right? See, Valley of Kashmir, we call it as Valley of Kashmir. So, very nice, right? You feel good seeing it, seeing those kind of things. So, imagine a whole 2400 kilometers is spread over 2400 kilometers, I said, right? So imagine from there till there, it is only the valleys range, etc. So you can see the mountains, the ranges, okay, the valleys. See how greenery it is, right? Total green. Do you find in nearby Davangere or in Harihar nearby, can you find all such things? No doubt we can find, but again not this kind of a thing, right? Every region has got its own speciality that is different. But yes, this is something, because we call Kashmir as the like what we call it as heaven, right? We call it as, we refer it as heaven. So here also same thing, see the heaven, how nice it is. This is Kulu Valley. Okay, sorry, the Kangra I couldn't take it. So Kulu Valley, see Kulu Valley, what happens? I had been to this particular place. So there you see the water flows. You can see the ice there. Okay, so the you have Kulu Manali, what they call. So the river which is flowing. Morning, if you see, a total ice you can see. So it would be very nice to see. Okay, you enjoy thoroughly going there. So if you are planning, then please do visit once. So Kashmir Valley and all, it's very nice. Okay, see here itself, in the picture itself you can find that, yes, the Himalayan mountain contains all these famous valleys, that is the Valley of Kashmir, the Kulu, etc. Okay, so these are the Himalayan mountains here. Just a second. Yes. Okay, so these are the valleys here. The next one is, yes, see again, because now you see this is given in your textbook. Okay, so here you can see the great Indian desert, okay, which will be dealing. So the very first one what we are dealing is the greater Himalaya. So the something that is maintained in this brownish color, okay, reddish lines and all, you can find it, right? So whole thing that is from here, that is river Indus to the Brahmaputra river. okay, here, somewhere it comes, yes. So the Brahmaputra, can you find here Brahmaputra? If at all, if it's possible, just go through the atlas, okay. You can see the river Indus here, okay. From there, now you can see the Great Himalayas, the whole thing, it is considered to be the Great Himalayas. So there are many ranges, they say, there are many ranges, okay, and it is very attractive in nature. The next one is, yes, the outermost range of the Himalayas, it is called the Shivaliks, okay, we call it as Shivaliks, and it is extending with a width of 10 to 50 kilometer, and yes, the altitude varies between 900 to 1100 meters. So the Shivalik range is also excellent one, okay. So see, the outermost range, okay, if you go to this one, the outermost range, you can check here, okay. So the outermost range, so that one is Shivalik, something that is outermost. If you take the boundary, okay, if you at all, not the outside boundary, okay, not that one, but here you can find Shivalik, right. So that is the end of this Himalayan mountain. So what they are telling here, the boundary of Himalayas, see, from here till here you have this, right, you have the Himalayan range, nothing but the whole thing here it, like this it comes, right. So the outer border, okay, now this is the outer border for Himalayas, right. So there you can find Shivalik range. So that Shivalik range is having the width, and say width is 10 to 50 kilometers with a altitude which keeps varying, okay, 900 to 1100 meters. It is having the consolidated sediments, okay, sedimentary rocks, what we know, sediments, okay. What happens, river, every time river, while they are flowing, what happens, it carries much more things, right, it carries many more things with it. So it brings this, it keeps bringing all the sediments, and it keeps attaching it. So whatever it attaches to the mountain, so there itself it has formed this particular range, okay. The main Himalayan ranges and the valleys are very like covered with thick gravel and alluvium. So what I can say is, when it comes to Himalayan ranges, most of the valleys, those are covered with gravel and alluvium. And the valley that is lying between Lesser Himalaya, there is something called the Greater Himalaya and Lesser Himalaya and the Shivaliks, okay. So the things, the valley that is between, that is sandwiched between the Lesser Himalaya and Shivaliks, we call it as dunes, okay. Dehradun, Kotle Dun and Patli Dun, all these things we call it as, okay. These are the very well like known or say very popular, I can say. So very well known duns here, okay. So that is like a dune, what we call it as. So the valleys, okay, the valleys which are coming near this Lesser Himalaya and the Shivalik, so we call it as dunes here. So the next is, see here you can find, yes, Dauladhar I said, see here it is, okay. So you can find Pir Panjal, this what I can say, range. And if you go to the opposite, you can find the Indus River. Now you will be learning about this Punjab Himalaya plus Kumaon Himalaya very soon. Then again you need this again, okay. So apart from that, you have rivers which are mentioned here, okay. Yes, right. We'll come back to this again while reading the rest of things. Yes. So the next one is, yes, so Himalayan mountains, right. So here again what we'll be learning, yes, the Himalayas, which is divided on the basis of the region. Again we have divided it on the basis of region, from west to east, demarcated by rivers. We consider it, so Great Himalayas, Inner Himalaya, or say Greater or Inner Himalaya, or say Lesser Himalaya. This is how they have named it, and it is done on the basis of regions, okay, regions where it is formed, that too from west to east. And the Indus and Satluj, okay, has been traditionally known as Punjab Himalaya. So the Indus River, okay, and the Satluj River. So that is called as, so Indus River, you can find it here, right? So see here. So here you can find the Indus River. Yes. So the Satluj, okay, in the same place here downwards. So these are considered to be the Punjab, okay, Punjab Himalaya. From the ranges or the mountains that has been surrounding these two rivers, we call it as Punjab Himalaya, and regionally it is known as Kashmir and Himachal Himalaya from west to east respectively. So see, from north to south it comes, right? So we call it as Punjab Himalaya, that too traditionally from the time immemorial, or say from the time unknown. We have been calling it as Punjab Himalaya, and now it is popularly known as, regionally known as Kashmir and Himachal Himalaya. So next is between Satluj and Kali River. Now you can see, I told you, right, like you will be learning Kumav, right? Yes. So here Satluj, okay, river Satluj, like you have till here. So from there till Kali. So what they are telling, that particular place, it is known as Kumav Himalayas. So between the river Tista and Dihang rivers, so we call it as Assam, okay, Assam Himalayas. I guess it is not there in this. You can check it in the textbook itself. You can find this particular place, okay. Yes. Whichever I have researched, I have taken up. Which I have not researched, you are supposed to check in the textbook itself. So the place, or say the region between this Tista and the Dihang rivers, it is called as Assam Himalayas. And next is the Brahmaputra. Okay, it marks the easternmost boundary of the Himalayas. So as you all know, to the east itself, as I have showed you already, the Brahmaputra, right? So Brahmaputra river. So here itself it comes. So when it comes to Brahmaputra river, what they are telling, it is the easternmost place, and it is the end of the this particular Himalayas. So it is the end of Himalayas there. So, or say you can consider it as the easternmost boundary there, okay, easternmost boundary. And how it is bounded, it bends sharply. Now this particular place, it bends sharply to the south, and it spreads along the eastern boundary of India, known as Purvachal, or eastern hills and mountains. So Purvachal, you can find it here. Can you locate it? Purvachal, can you see it here? Yes, Purvachal. Yes, so Purvachal, right? So what they say is that till the boundary, okay, the end boundary, the easternmost boundary of Himalayas, which is covered by this Brahmaputra river, which is the boundary, now it is bending towards the south. Okay, now that is called as eastern boundary of India, okay, along with the eastern boundary of India, and that is called as Purvachal, or even it is called as eastern hills and mountains. Now again, what it is made up of, it is made up of sedimentary rocks, and it is covered with a dense forest. So it is densely forest area, okay, you have this dense forest area there. So the Purvachal, okay, Purvachal comprises of Patakai hills, the Naga hills, the Mizo hills, and the Manipur hills. Can you see here Patakai here, Patakai hills, okay, Naga hills, Manipur hills, Mizo hills, right? Yes, okay. So do locate these things in your India map, okay. Just check it in your textbook, or say even refer atlas here, okay. So you can, or else I'll share the PPT, you can just check it out. So you can find all the places here. Now see, all this Purvachal hills and all, I request you people, if it's possible, do check it online, all the pictures and all, how it looks, how the hills look. Okay, you can find a few changes there. Actually I was supposed to take all the pictures, but because of the slides itself, I had to compromise here, but please do check it, okay, online itself you can check. So you can find all the different kinds of hills and mountains there, okay. So that would be helpful for you. The next one is, yes, so that is about your Himalayas here. So the next is, the second one is the northern plains. You see here in the physical features, okay, now you can see here, okay, see here, whole thing, the blue color, that is Himalayan range. So we did study about Himalayas, right? The Himalayas, when we did study, the blue color, complete bluish color, what you can find it here, it is the Himalayan range. The northern plains are green in nature. Okay, the northern plains, the what we call it as northern plains. Next is Deccan Plateau and the Indian deserts. You can see the Deccan Plateau and Indian deserts, the northern plains, and you have Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats, which will be Jhelum Nev. So when it comes to northern plains, it is formed by the interplay of three major river systems, that is the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra. So the tributaries related to Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra. So these things, what they do, they keep carrying the soil. The rivers or the tributaries that are connected to the main river, they keep flowing, right? And as and when they keep flowing, and yesterday while we were discussing about this particular plates and all, I told you the plates came together and they did form peak, okay, and somewhere it formed the plains. So that is the northern plain. Okay, the plains that is formed apart from Deccan Plateau started going down, and then this northern plains were formed, and these northern plains, when it comes to northern plains, that is especially formed by the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra. So they keep bringing all the stuffs, right? So as they keep moving, they get all the fertile things with them, right? The collection. So because of that itself, the northern plains have been formed, and it is made up of alluvial soil. Now you can see the spread area here. So the area, so almost 7 lakh square kilometers. So it is spread over 7 lakh square kilometers, and it is densely populated. So it is having a rich soil material because it is on the river itself, right? So river banks, the fertility is rich. The soil has got a richness in that, and it is having very favorable climate. The climate is very favorable in nature, and even it is very rich with the soil. The soil is having much more value there. Next comes rivers from northern mountains are involved in depositional work. As I told you, deposition. Okay, the rivers carry with them all the deposits. They carry with them all the deposits, and what they do, they keep depositing here and there as they hit the rocks, or probably sometimes they are stopped by the small rocks, small stones, all these things. So what happens, it keeps depositing fertile soil, or sometimes it carries many more things, right? River keeps carrying many more things with it. So here they call it as rivers are doing its depositional works. And in lower course, okay, as it moves down, it is due to the gentle slope, what happens, the velocity of the river decreases. So as you all know, as it is flowing down, like the velocity, as actually it has to increase, but what happens, resulting in the formation of riverine islands. So here and there, like the riverine islands, what we call it as. So what happens, the lower course, okay, wherein the force is very less, there is a gentle slope and the velocity decreases there, resulting in the riverine island. So the northern plains, see now you can make out here, right? The northern plains, whole orange color, right? You can see there in the picture. Yes, okay, so those areas are having the northern plains. So in the lower course, the river split into numerous channels, okay, due to the deposition of silt. As I told you, the rivers are doing the depositional work here as they keep depositing. So what they do, the deposition of silt has made them split into numerous channels there. Okay, the rivers are having numerous channels. It's not like only in one course it cannot flow because of the silt they carry. They are having many divisions, okay, and those are called as distributaries. They call it as distributaries here, and now it is broadly divided into three sections here. Western part of northern plain, it is referred to as Punjab plain. So western part, okay, when it comes to this part, now it is called as Punjab plains here. okay, which is and western part of northern plain, and it is referred to as the Punjab plains, and it is formed by Indus and its tributaries. So you have here Indus river, right? In the earlier picture you have checked it. So Indus river, it is formed, the Punjab plains are formed due to the Indus river, and larger part of the plain lies in Pakistan. So as you all know, because of the partition, the larger plain, because the Indus river is near, so it is in Pakistan itself, right? So what happens, the larger part, okay, it is in Pakistan now. The Indus and its tributaries, okay, that is the Jhelum, the Chenab, the Ravi, the Beas and the Satluj, it originate in the Himalayas. So these are the rivers that takes its birth, okay, that takes its birth from Himalayas itself. So those are the tributaries here, okay. So tributaries, what we call it as, so the Jhelum, the Chenab, the Ravi, the Beas, etc. So it originates from Himalaya, and yes, it is dominated by this Doabs. What is this Doab? Do is nothing but two. Hindi, it is a Hindi word wherein do is referred as two, and ab, it is nothing but water. And the Ganga plain extends between Ghaggar and Testa river. So here it is not there, in the other slide I can show you. So Testa and Ghaggar, okay, these are the rivers wherein the Ganga plains can be seen. So it is all about your northern plains. So here when it comes to northern plains, so what they say is here, it is described as a flat land, okay, and no variations in its relief. It is a very flat land because every now and then these depositories are coming and they are depositing many things here. So there is no variation in its relief, and it is divided into 4 regions. The rivers descending from the mountains deposit pebbles and is known as Bhabar. Streams disappear in this Bhabar belt, okay. So most of the there are no variations here, okay, there are no variations. It is a flat land, but yes, divided into 4 regions, and it keeps the rivers descent, it keeps decreasing from the mountains, depositing the pebbles there, and it is known as Bhabar. And the streams disappear, all the streams here, it disappear in the Bhabar belt. And to the south of the belt, okay, when it comes to the south of the belt, that is, yes, to the south, towards the south. Now what happens? Yes, the streams and rivers create a wet, swampy and marshy region known as Tarai, okay. So they form the Tarai region. So what happens, as and when the the belt starts moving, okay, so what happens, the belt, so what happens to the south, as it is sloping, so what happens, the rivers create a wet, swampy and marshy region, very wetty region, or say like swampy region it would be creating, and it is known as Tarai here. And the forests have been cleared. See what happens, that it was earlier, it was totally having rich forest. But now because of the agricultural land and people started migrating, right? So most of the migrants from Pakistan, they have got settled here. That's the reason what has happened. The forest is having been it is cleared because of the agricultural activities. Now the northern plains, it is formed of older alluvium, and yes, so there is a part which is known as Bhangar. You have studied about Bhangar soil, right? You have heard about the Bhangar soil. So which is very rich in its what I can say, the soil itself is very rich because it is having much more what I can say, the deposits from the river, which is very rich, okay. And yes, the flood plains of the rivers and present a terrace like feature. So what happens, as the flood river, whenever the rivers get flooded up, okay, so what happens, most of the this mud, it is carried away, right? So what happens there itself, whenever the mud has been carried, again that will be very fertile in nature. So the soil here contains calcareous deposits, which is known as your Kankar, okay, it is known as Kankar, and the newer younger deposits of the plains, okay. Now here whatever the plains are having wherein the deposits are done, so that are called as Khadar here. So these are the few things related to northern plains. So the next one is peninsular plateau. So let us know about peninsular plateau. So when it comes to peninsular plateau, like a sea. It's a tableland composed of the old crystalline igneous and metamorphic rocks. So when it comes to igneous and metamorphic rocks, it is totally like a rocky land we can consider here. See the total land, Peninsula Plateau. Okay, here from here again here. So the Deccan Plateau will be learning. Okay, so you have to know about these things. So that is how they have the Central Highlands. So they have divided the plateau itself into two parts. So apart from Himalayas and the northern plains, they have taken the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. See, I will be further dealing with it. So it's a tableland composed of the old crystalline, igneous and metamorphic rocks. First thing, and it has a broad and shallow valleys. So here there are many more broad valleys and many more shallow valleys, very small valleys and even very broad valleys. Now it consists of two broad divisions. So now when it comes to Peninsular Plateau, which is the oldest plateau, as we have already discussed about this thing in the first class. So when I said about this, it is like the Peninsular Plateau is the oldest one and it is broadly divided into two, that is the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. So when it comes to the Central Highlands, what they say, it is the part lying to the north of the river, okay, and Narmada, that is river Narmada, covering a major area of the Malwa Plateau. So here you see it is this particular thing, okay. So here the complete thing, it is Central Highlands. So that is how they have divided it. And the downwards, if you go downwards, the Deccan Plateau. Now Deccan Plateau, it is triangular shaped. Yes, see, it is triangular shaped, right? You can see it, a kind of triangle. It's not like exactly triangle, but yes, here it is flattened, right? So if you see at the middle structure, it is a bit flat, and then it is again like coming as a cone shape, right? Yes, so that is taken as triangular one. Yes, so when it comes to this, so it is a triangular landmass that lies to the south of the river Narmada, and the Vindhyan range is bounded by the Central Highlands on the south and the Aravallis on the northwest. So we will be learning about Aravalli and even the Vindhyan range. So here you can see the Aravalli, right? Aravalli Valley, Aravalli ranges and Vindhyan ranges. So you might have studied about these things, right? In your 8th grade and all, you might have known about this. Yes. So the Aravalli hills, which are very attractive in nature, again the Vindhyan mountains, what we call very, very attractive, very nice in nature, right? So these ranges, so the Vindhyan range, it is bounded by the Central Highlands. So if you take up the range, you can find the Central Highlands there, and yes, on the south, and the Aravallis on the northwest. So towards the south you have Central Highlands again here, so it is formed here, and Aravalli. So within this branch, what they are forming, the Central Highlands. Okay, so that is what they have said there. The next is the westward extension gradually merges with the sandy and rocky deserts of Rajasthan. So as it is Aravalli, okay, so Aravalli. Now if you go further, you have see the area here, okay, somewhere here, that is rocky or say sandy in nature, which is a totally desert area, okay. So here you see Deccan Plateau again, you can find here the Narmada river, okay, the Narmada is here. So the Narmada rift towards Narmada. So what has happened, if you go towards north, that is your Central Highlands, and if you come to the south, you can find the Deccan Plateau. So the rivers present here are the Chambal, the Sindh, the Betwa and the Ken. Okay, so if you cannot find it here, definitely you can check out in the textbook, or you can find even in this, what I can say, online you can check, or even in your textbook you can find the find all these rivers. So the eastward extension of the plateau are locally known as Bundelkhand and Bagelkhand. Okay, so the Bundelkhand and Bagelkhand you can see here, Bundelkhand craton. Okay, so here you have, so that is where they are telling that yes, like this eastward, toward eastward extension, these things are from the plateau forms these things. Okay, so Bundelkhand, it is known as Bundelkhand and Bagelkhand. So the Chota Nagpur Plateau, Okay, you can see the Chota Nagpur Plateau. I guess here you can find. Yes, Chota Nagpur here. You can see it, right? Yes. So here in the same location, just a sec. Yes. So here almost in this area if you consider, so there you can find the Chota Nagpur Plateau. Apart this it is half what we have taken, so towards the north. So there is a Chota Nagpur Plateau which marks the further eastward extension. Okay, now for the Peninsular Plateau it is going towards the eastward extension with the Chota Nagpur Plateau there. So the distinct feature of the plateau is the presence of the black soil area which is known as Deccan Trap. So here you can find the Deccan Trap which is having the black soil here. See, now we can see the Aravali fold belt here, and you have this Bundelkhand, and here somewhere upwards towards the east you can find the Chota Nagpur which is coming under Central Highlands, and wherein it is the eastward extension. It shows the eastward extension, and the distinct feature of this particular peninsular plateau, it is that presence of black soil which we call it as Deccan Traps here. So this particular area it is called as Deccan Traps here. Okay. Yes. So the next is Deccan Plateau. What is this Deccan Plateau? See, it looks very nice. Okay, Deccan Plateau is very nice to see, and also all this greenery, all those animals, like you find something different this there. So the Sapura range flanks its broad base, okay, in the north. Towards the north if you go, again you have this Sapura range flanks, and yes, while the Mahadev, the Kaimur hills and the Michael range forms its eastern extension. See, towards now when it comes to broad base in the north, while the Mahadev, the Kaimur hills and the Michael range form its eastern extension. So the extension of Deccan Plateau, how it is extended towards the east, that is what is being mentioned. So an extension, okay, here an extension is also visible in the northeast, locally known as the Meghalaya, Karbi Anglong Plateau and the North Kachar Hills. Okay, and there are three prominent hill ranges, that is from west to east, that is the Garo, the Khasi and the Jaintia Hills. Okay, so these are the three prominent hill ranges which comes from west to east. Okay, from western side to the eastern side you can see the Garo, the Khasi and the Jaintia Hills, and the eastern and western ghats marks the western and eastern like edges easily here. See, here you can find the western, in the other picture I did show you, right, western and eastern ghats. Yes, see, you have western ghats, you have eastern ghats. So that is where the Deccan Plateau. So the Deccan Plateau, it marks the edges, okay, edges of this Deccan Plateau. The edges, the western and eastern ghat marks the western and eastern edges of Deccan Plateau respectively. So this is all about Deccan Plateau, dear students. The remaining things we will be discussing in the next class. Thank you so much. Have a great day.